Patrick Lencioni wrote The Advantage. He's written several books, Five Dysfunctions of a Team. I think it's probably the most widely read book, but The Advantage is about building a healthy organization, because a healthy organization is the most sustainable competitive advantage you can have. That's his principle. A lot of it is about communication and clarity. Those are two of the core principles of The Advantage, which produces alignment. There's actually a meeting framework that he talks about in the book, which we've used at Amerigo since almost the first week we launched the business. It's pretty simple, but it's something that you have to be disciplined to stick to. So we would have a 15-minute daily check-in with the leadership team because we're spread out. And that's really just touching base, who's where. Sometimes it's not about business, it's just about what are people doing, but it's a regular touch point. Then once a week, we'll have a tactical meeting, which kind of goes through the KPIs, how we're progressing against those, as well as any other tactical activities that are critical to business performance. Then we'll do an ad hoc meeting, which is typically like 3 topics, about 25 minutes each, where we know that those are some of the most important things right now, and we're making sure that we're discussing those things. So it's not me setting an agenda. It's actually based on what everybody's doing and putting forth as important ad hoc topics. That's the agenda for the meeting. At Deltec, I did it the other way. I would set the agenda because it was what I thought was most important right now. And we'd get off of an hour-long call, and sometimes we weren't necessarily talking about the most important thing. So this gives us that rigor. And 3 times a year, we'll do a SMART day where we will actually set the defining objectives for the upcoming, in our case, 4-month period, because we're operating at an academic calendar. So we'll spend half a day or more discussing not only our overall KPIs, but what are the most important things we're going to do in the next period and over the next year. And then we'll do a healthy day, which is a separate day, which really is about how we're doing as a team. And that's where you get the cohesion and alignment as much as anything. We'll talk about, it depends on what's going on at the time, but things, do we have elephants in the room, and are we letting that exist? And are we talking around things instead of directly addressing things? We've done disc profiles of everybody on the leadership team, so we know the wiring of everyone. And we've used that to solve some conflicts. If you run a team of any size, occasionally, eventually, you're going to wind up with 2 people that are wired very differently, and it comes out in different ways, and the whole team knows there's friction. But when you actually get down to the essence of how people are wired, it produces and creates an understanding of other people on the team, and it lets those individuals figure out why maybe somebody's communicating in a certain way or reacting in a certain way. And it creates alignment because you're talking about the hard things. What we try to do, and we don't always do this as well as we should, but at the end of every tactical or ad hoc meeting, we'll talk about how are we doing as a team and making sure that is a topic of conversation, not just strategy and tactics, because those things can start breaking down if you have people in silos. Having meetings after the meeting is a flashing red light that you have problems. So if a meeting of 6 people on a team ends and then 2 people are going off and think, wow, I don't think that made any sense. What do you think about that? And you wind up having pods, that breaks down the culture, that breaks down the alignment, and then it feeds to the rest of the team. If the leadership team's not aligned, you can be sure the organization is not going to be on the same page.